assist zone, something that we've been starting to talk about, and how do we get into these spaces. The idea behind it is that we want to have a shared way of scoring, a shared intention, a way that we understand that if a player's in these spaces, they're going to look to attack in this way so that we can prepare to get in the box and to score the goals and to do this in a more consistent basis. We know that sometimes goals are scored from moments of individual brilliance, and we love those moments, but we also know that against better teams, we have to create more consistent chances to give us a chance to win the games and get the results and all those things that come with it. So we're looking at the assist zone. So you can see where it's highlighted. It's that space between the edge of the 18 and the edge of the 6. Stats around the world measuring this. This is one of the most beneficial space to try to create assists from in order to score goals. And then we'll also look at this space is where the majority of goals are scored from, and typically with one touch. So something we've been training a lot in practice. What I want to look at is some different ways that we could get into it. So we're back in a 4-3-3. We have our back four players here. Our 6, our 2 10s. We have a 9, 11, and our 7. So we'll look at different ways. And this is what we're trying to say is, as you can see, we've cut out the corner of the field. The reason for this is that crosses that take place from these spaces have a lower probability of leading to a goal. They're harder to finish. They're harder to produce on a consistent basis. The type of finishes you need are much more complex and demand more from the players. So again, we're trying to look for more consistent ways of scoring. So a couple things, and we've talked about this in the 2v1. The big idea is our attacking mids, or the players in these spaces facing forward, ready to break down the opposition back four. Can you read the outside back and the center backs and their behavior? So in a more zonal type system, the outside backs are going to squeeze in and they're going to protect these gaps. So they're going to protect the assist zone, which makes sense. So our idea is, can we get our wingers or our widest players to get to the outside shoulder? Can we move the ball to their feet in order so that the player can then carry the ball into this assist zone and get here to create some type of pass, cross, however we're going to word it, okay? The other thing that we're going to look at is a more man marking system where that outside back really wants to attack the space and get tight. Can we then find passes in between that zone? So again, it is the job of these players to read this. There are other ways to do it. We can play the ball in. What if the ball goes out? And as the ball goes out, that player slides to put pressure. We can now attack the gap that's left and still get players into that assist zone. But the main thing is can we get into this space? All right, so now we have a player that's carried into this space. Move the assist zone here. And she is carrying, and we're trying to get our hips and body turned so that we can create the moment. What we want is the highest player, which would typically be our 9, we want to get them across the goalkeeper's face into the front post. The furthest away wide player is going to come into the back post and seal the box. We don't want the ball to leave the box out the other way. They're not necessarily arriving all the way here. They're off this post, ready to keep everything back in front of the goal and arrive onto it. This now leaves our backside attacking mid arriving into the second 6 area. So we know as the ball travels and that person dribbles, it's going to pull these players down because they move with the ball to block the goal, which we want to arrive in this space that is then left open. So now can we create this cut back? And then from here, we believe that we can score goals more consistently. We can have simpler finishes, and we look to score from there. Now again, these spaces allow us to create assists that are simpler, more consistent, and easier for our team to not only make as an assist, but also arrive on and finish as an assist. Now, the rest of our team, if we look at big picture, are going to step on, depending on the situation, and try to seal and keep the game in our attacking half as much as possible. But hopefully this helps. We see these assist zones. This is kind of what we're targeting. We'll keep working on ways that we can get into it. But it is, one, our attacking midfield players being able to read this situation. If they're tight, can we attack the space in behind? If they're off, can we go to feet and then combine and get in behind them? So we can dribble, we can run off the back. So it is this idea of how do we then solve that 2v1 and recognize what's going on.